What's up, family? Welcome to Positive Power Double XI, J. Royce Films. I'm Jerry Royce Live, and you're watching The Red Room with Shay Samuels, right here on Music Vision Television. That's right, MVTV-21.com. It's going to be awesome, y'all. So please share this file. It's going to be awesome. You know what's going to be? It's going to be lit.
Hello, I'm Dr. Eric Holmes, the author of The Power of the Sea and Soulful Prayers. That is #1 best-selling. And I am in The Red Room with Shay.
Welcome to The Red Room. I am your host, Shay Samuels, and we want to just thank you for joining us for another episode. We are having such an amazing time, and I want to introduce to you guys my first time meeting him, but I know this will not be the last time that I see him, Mr. Leroy Allen. How are you?
I'm doing well, and thank you so very much for the invite. The embrace has been good since I walked in the door, so it is indeed my pleasure.
Thank you. That's how we want to treat them. We are all brothers and sisters in Christ, and it's amazing when we can take what we see on social media, we can bring it to life, and we meet and connect with everybody. Putting faces to a name, I think people hide too much behind social media.
I so agree with you. Social media has its place, but it's nothing like eye-to-eye contact and a handshake.
I see you. Look, eye-to-eye and a handshake, because that's how you got to do it. But we have an amazing topic today. We're going to get into the topic, but I first would like for you to just introduce yourself for those of the viewers who don't know you already.
All right, sounds good. My pleasure. Again, my name is Leroy Allen. I am the CEO and founder of the Life Enhancement Consulting Group, as well as the Life Enhancement Coaching Institute. And within both, we offer training and resources to small, medium, and large companies and churches around the country. The Life Enhancement Coaching Institute is a school of which we offer our students from around the country to become certified as a certified life coach, executive leadership coach, Christian development coach, relationship coach, and we have a certified public speaking course all wrapped up in one.
I love it. I would say right now, and this isn't our topic, but because you said it, I just want to expound on it.
Okay.
I just think right now a lot of churches need to really attach themselves to what you're doing. A lot of people are just kind of, we're not taught.
Right.
We're not taught. We're kind of just going off of a whim, and the harshest thing that I could ever see is someone mimicking what they think it looks like.
Well, see, we have what I call a phrase that pays within the Life Enhancement Consulting Group and the Life Enhancement Coaching Institute, where we say we don't want to teach you anything to know. Mm-hmm. We want to teach you everything to do.
Yes, yeah, and I like that. I like that because when you don't have an identification of yourself and you don't know you,
that's exactly right.
You're going to pick up on others,
right,
and still feel lost.
That's exactly right. There's nothing worse than to have something to be said or taught, or have your name called to be something that you're not.
Come on.
If in fact that your name is Leroy, then that's what it is.
Yes.
If in fact that your name is Sheila, then that's what it is.
Yeah.
Don't confuse me with Bob, because I ain't knowing Bob like that.
My mama ain't named me Bob, and I ain't
That's
Bob.
Exactly right.
Yes.
My parents gave me a name. They was calling me that name for however long I've been living. My grandparents been calling me that name. People in school been calling me that name. In fact, my grandparents told me, say, you got 3 first names. I ain't gonna tell you what my middle name is.
That's when you're in trouble. When the middle name come out, that's when you're in trouble.
That's exactly right.
When you get the first name, middle name, and the last name.
That's exactly right.
Don't be a junior.
No. More is caught than taught.
Well, it was a pleasure for everyone to get to know more about you,
Absolutely,
and we'll get an understanding of how to find you. But that is really a good segue. It's a good segue because we're going to be talking today about how our sin condemns us and how we stay stuck.
Yeah.
And whatever sin it is that we've committed.
Absolutely.
It could be sin that's not intentional.
Yeah.
Sin that's taught to be sin. I've heard people say before, when you're younger, you're taught that if you do something bad, that God's gonna get you for that.
Yeah.
How many times, I wonder how many 3-year-olds heard that and they still live with that at the age of 40 or 45.
Absolutely. There is, within the coaching and counseling realm, there is I'm going to call it a statement of renewal called paradigm shift. The paradigm shift, or the paradigm, is what we call repeated information, or things that have been said over and over and over and over and over again, right? And in that regard, as it relates to it being said or done over and over and over again, it becomes an experience for us. So that's what they mean when they say be careful what you put out into the atmosphere.
Come on.
You got to be careful, because words have a way of doing things and meaning things.
Yeah.
There used to be a saying where they say, sticks and stones may hurt my bones, but words will never harm me. Whoever made that up, they lied.
They don't even know. They don't even know. Because they hurt.
That's exactly right. They hurt. And people have a way of attaching certain things to words, even if you didn't say it.
Yeah.
You see, my language and your language might be different.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we should at least have a mutual understanding, which means that we can disagree to agree.
Yes. Yeah. And I think people don't realize that, because what happens is there's different dynamics in regions.
Absolutely.
There's different dynamics in culture.
Absolutely.
There's different dynamics. You're a male. I'm a female.
Yeah.
There's different dynamics as age.
Yes.
Generations.
That's exactly right.
And people don't understand that just because it doesn't match what you're trying to say, that it's okay.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. I so agree with you. Now, you and I sit here tonight, right? And I can tell you that you and I have two different types of language, but I need what you have. I need what you have.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear.
You know what I'm saying?
Same here.
In fact, I have been one to tell people I believe that God speaks more to women than He do us men.
Uh-oh.
And the reason being is because you all are in the detail.
You kind of you saying that 'cause you're just trying to make me blush right now.
No, you all in the detail. God tell us something. We want to know all about it and all that. So God said, I ain't tell you that.
I ain't tell you.
He tell y'all something. Y'all put it on. You know.
Yeah.
It takes us a minute to get there. We got to crawl over the mountain, get up and find out why and who and where. And God said, I ain't tell you do that. What you doing all the way over there? I ain't tell you go over there.
I will tell you probably just taught about a good 1,000 men in saying that.
That's exactly
something
right.
that they just need to know.
That's exactly
we have the details.
Y'all got the details.
We have the details. And you were man enough to say it right
course,
here. You heard it right here on the Red Room from Mr. Leroy.
My mama taught me something. She taught me something.
What was that? Say it one more time.
Listen.
I love it. I love it. But it's so many people who don't, though.
That's exactly right.
So many people who don't. And the thing that I really want to get out of what people do or don't do when it comes down to sin is more or less, I want people to understand, one, the power of God.
Right.
That's lost somewhere. I'm not saying that we're not supposed to feel convicted.
Right.
But to stay in that condemnation.
Right.
To stay in that bound
That's exactly
behavior.
Right. Yeah.
It causes you to just miss out on life. That's what I think about.
I so agree. It is said by many leaders in the church and beyond, the conversion is in your mouth.
I like that.
God said, let there be light, and there was light.
Woo!
The conversion is in your mouth. It's
like
not
that.
in the books that we read.
Yes.
The conversion is really not even in the Bible.
Thank you.
Because the Bible has many translations. So now, as relates to sin,
the Bible has
many translations.
Go ahead.
So as it relates to sin, just because I sin or the next person sin, that doesn't mean that I'm guilty.
Yes.
You can evaluate me, but don't judge me, because you ain't got the right to do that.
There's a translation in sin.
Yeah.
That something just like you just kind of ball that up.
Yeah.
And then you know how you like take the baseball and then just boom, like that just
slingshot David and Goliath.
Let me tell you, when you said what you just said, I just thought about the fact that we're taught what sin looks like.
Yeah.
And so...
Yeah. That's exactly right.
Go ahead.
That's exactly right. In fact, I've been one to tell certain friends, no matter what my mother and my grandparents taught me in the house, when I got out in the street, they taught me 101 ways how to tell a lie.
Ooh.
And I'm being really, really, really serious and honest about what I'm saying.
Oh,
Trust me when I tell you, I come from East Baltimore, and you can best believe they taught me 101 ways how to tell a lie. So, no matter what they taught me on the inside.
I'm just going to tell you guys on the other side of this conversation, we're going to come back. I want you guys to stay tuned because we're with Mr. Leroy Allen. And I promise you, if you're just tuning in, this conversation, this discussion, it's blowing my mind. We're both learning something, I'm sure. But Absolutely. I want you guys to get an understanding that it's not okay to stay where you are. You've done it. It's over. Now it's time to press forward. And you'll find out how to do that right after this message.
Endure for a night, but joy will come in the morning. Trials will come, but they will go. Remember, joy will come in the morning. The clouds will in the morning, the sun will shine at the dawning of the day. Just hold on, speak the word, keep the faith. Just hold on, joy will come in the morning. Just keep the faith in the morning. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy will come in the morning. Trials will come, but they will go. Remember, joy will come in the morning. The clouds will pass in the morning. The sun will shine at the dawning of the day. Just hold on, speak the word, keep the faith. Just hold on, it will come in the morning. In the morning. In the morning, alright. In the morning, I know it's hurting right now. In the morning.
Welcome back to the Red Room. I hope that you enjoyed that musical presentation. I am your host, Shay Samuels, and I'm here today with Mr. Leroy Allen. And I'm just thankful for the opportunity to fellowship. Yeah, I was like hearing something in the background. But no, thank you so much for being with us, and I really appreciate the nuggets that you are dropping.
Sure.
God gives me everything in stories, and for somebody today, I can just see this like Hansel and Gretel that they're going back for the breadcrumbs that were dropped.
Absolutely.
After hearing you talk, it's like they're going back to pick up those breadcrumbs as the reminder of what God has already brought them through.
Absolutely.
But before they started picking up the breadcrumbs, they had to defeat the evil stepmother that was trying to eat and devour them.
That's exactly right.
Which is our sin.
Absolutely. Sin, as we discussed early on, comes in many different ways. And just because we sin, that doesn't mean that we are forgotten.
Yes.
That doesn't mean that. We have an opportunity to do something different every day that God wakes us up in the morning. What we choose to do, it's up to us.
Yeah.
The question always comes to be, as it relates to life and as it relates to God, for those of us who have a relationship with God, is it permissible or is it a benefit? It may be permissible for you and I to go to McDonald's and eat every day of the week. But the question is it a benefit?
You stay out of my car after the show.
The question is it a benefit, right? Just because it's permissible for me to go to McDonald's, I have to know and understand that there are some consequences behind that.
Wow.
Just as we sin, there are some consequences behind that.
Yeah.
And we have to take ownership of what it is that we do. Growing up in a house with my grandparents and my mother, whenever I did something outside of who they wanted me to be and who they expected me to be, they asked me why I did it. And if my why wasn't good enough, I was punished.
Wow.
Now, I'm an outside guy. So, therefore, you know what I did? I try to think of lies to get outside.
Wow.
Because I'm an outside guy. So, but the lies that I told, if it wasn't, even if that wasn't good enough, it still didn't get me outside.
Yeah.
So it was permissible, but it wasn't a benefit for me.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times when we as Christians, we commit sin, it's permissible, but it's not a benefit.
Yeah.
And the question always comes to be, what is the why? Where's your why? With whatever it is that you do, there should be a why.
Yeah.
There should be a why.
I get in trouble for that a lot. You know, I'm a why person. And so I'm a why person. And a lot of people can't take the why. But I think when we understand the why we're doing certain things, we can understand how to implement different strategies.
That's exactly right.
To get to that common goal.
That's exactly right. I tell you this. If you have a why that goes along with an acronym that we practice within the Life Enhancement Consulting Company and the Life Enhancement Consulting Coaching Institute, the first W stands for who I am. The second, as it relates to my identity, because we're talking about identity as well now. So the first W stands for who I am, as it relates to my identity. The second W stands for where I am, as it relates to my position. The third W stands for where I'm going, as it relates to my direction.
Wow.
And the A stands for how I'm going to get there, as it relates to clarity.
Yes. And that right there, I was about to say, if that ain't clear enough before you said clarity, I was going to say, if that's not clear enough before he said
that's
clarity.
Exactly right.
But those are guidelines to coming out of that sin.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Knowing who you are. And, it's also, as relates to sin, a thing called leadership presence.
Yeah.
Leadership presence. Have you ever been walked into a room in the midst of a group of high-level achievers or mid-level achievers, and somebody walk in the room and they just have that about them, that X factor, as we often talk about.
Yeah.
What people don't see is what goes on with that person behind closed doors.
Come on, talk it.
Where, they come in contact with who they are.
Yes.
Where they are, where they're going, and how they're going to get there. So what they understand is that practice makes progress.
Yes.
Practice don't make perfect, as they used to say.
Woo! Woo! Say that again for the person who misses, so they don't have to rewind.
Yes,
go ahead.
more is caught than taught. Practice makes progress rather than practice making perfect.
Wow.
It makes progress in that regard.
You just said something again, something that's profound, because we're taught that practice makes perfect.
Oh, and that's exactly what
and
we're
so
taught.
That's why you have those, Kobe Bryants who are going on the basketball court shooting those free throws every day.
Yeah.
Those Shaquille O'Neals. I can't speak about anybody like Stephen Curry. I can say that.
Sure.
But I don't know any Jordan. I can say those people. But we've been taught that you have to practice something over and over and over again.
That's exactly right. Well, see, it's within the practice where you also understand that new habits are formed through process. Anything that's practiced becomes a habit. Anything that's habit becomes a practice.
And within that practice, I'm telling you, you find out like maybe I could have shot it. Maybe I'm taught to shoot it this way, but then you start learning yourself.
That's exactly right.
Can you tell me
How about that? How about that? You start learning yourself. I like that. So within the course of learning yourself, guess what you obtain through practice? Self-mastery. You become a master at it. So when you become a master at it, guess what you're saying to the world and everything that's in it? Pay me what I'm worth.
Woo!
Give me my value.
Come on.
And there is no negotiation with that, because some elements of your value is more caught than talked about. It's more caught. And when it's caught, there is no negotiation with that. 10,000 is 10,000.
Yes.
Pay it or even take a walk, one or the other.
You know, I heard Miles Monroe say that once. Miles Monroe was talking, I was listening to one of his sermons, and he was talking about the value, your worth.
Absolutely.
And he was saying knowing what your worth is.
Absolutely.
And, you know, just even going back to the sin aspect of this discussion, it's like when you know your worth, you understand the power of...
Without a shadow of a doubt. I'm loving the entire conversation. When you understand your worth, you understand your purpose. Your purpose leads to passion. Passion leads to power. And power leads to profit.
Yes.
Pay me what I'm worth.
You know, who was that said, pay me my money in cash?
In cash. In cash. Don't write me no check. Because if I take it to the bank and it bounces, coming back to you.
Pay me my money in cash. But you have to understand. It's important for us to understand, you know, that we all have purpose. I mean, there's not one person that's not designed with the purpose. Now, whether you're walking in it or not, that's up to you. You know, the Bible says that your gift will make room for you. And I've heard someone say that it's the prominent gift. So for those of you who have several different gifts and you're trying to do hair on Sunday and do nails on the Thursday and, you know, and you're wondering why it's not all adding up. You're not totally walking out your purpose. Your purpose can be caring for somebody. It may not be the act of, it could just be that this is what you are designed to do.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay. That's okay. I'll tell you, I've been under the same pastor now for 22 years of my life, 22 years. And one thing that I know from being under his leadership, and we have a congregation of about 10,000 people. Okay, so he's seen generations of people come and go in that regard. And one thing I know is that your assignment should be the thing that you're chasing. Not money, not title, and none of those things. It should be your assignment.
Come on.
And your assignment may not necessarily be in the pulpit.
Yes, it may not be. So many people told you that you needed to be there. They've implanted this in your head.
Exactly
you need to be up there singing. You need to be up there preaching. You need to be that elder of the church. You don't need to be sweeping the floors. You shouldn't be doing somebody's bathroom. You were called to a higher purpose.
That's exactly
and they don't know your worth.
They don't know your worth. What about that? And it's so much so that your assignment could be in the marketplace, but you sitting in the pews. Why are you sitting there?
Come on.
Ain't nobody calling you. Ain't nobody even know your name.
Come on.
But that's one of the things that I've learned since I've been there is that your assignment should be the thing that you're chasing, not title, not money, because if you're in your right place, guess what? The provision will find you.
Yes, come on. That's a whole nother discussion. That's a whole nother discussion. Before we leave out of here today, it's been a pleasure. This has been a pleasure. I've learned so much. I appreciate the nuggets. I thank you guys. Thank you for joining us, and thank you guys for being a part of this show today. Where can they find you?
Well, you can go on two websites that I have. One is LeroyAllen.net for the consulting and training, and then the other one is Life Enhancement Consulting Group for the Life Enhancement Coaching Institute, where all material and all those wonderful things lie right there.
Amen. And I'm looking forward to connecting with you even after this. So that is the Red Room. Again, I'm your host, Shay Samuels, and I'm going to leave you with this. Know your worth. Know that you are worth it. Understand the abilities and the purpose that God has gifted you with. And I want you guys to just start walking it out. Don't let sin hold you bound anymore. Move forward, press through. God has designed you with a purpose in mind. That is the Red Room. I am thankful again for you guys tuning in, and we will see you on the next episode of the Red Room.
time for war and a time for peace. You created all the seasons. You have the whole world in your hands. When you created me, it was your perfect plan. Nobody like you, Lord. No, there's nobody like you, Lord. There is nobody like you. Nobody like you. Nobody like you, Lord. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. He's got the whole 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 wide world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. Nobody like you, Lord. No, there's nobody like you, Lord. There is nobody like you. Nobody like you. Nobody like you, Lord. There's nobody like you. Nobody like